Hi, everyone. You are listening to Play Now, Play for Life, a podcast for music educators. I'm your host, Aaron Hansen. I'm a former band and general music teacher of 29 years and now a part of the West Music team. And every episode, we sit down and chat with experts in music education to learn about tricks of the trade and talk about topics in music education. And today, we've got a good topic and two great people to talk to about this topic. So we have two people right here from West Music, Judy Pine and Tereasa Evans, and they are both very involved with professional development with teachers, and that's what we're going to get to talk about today. So welcome to both of you.
Hello.
Hi.
Um, could we maybe just start really quickly? Each one of you, Judy, maybe you could go first, but just kind of tell us your current role at West Music and how that plays a little bit into professional development, because you both deal with this quite a bit.
We do. Teresa and I are part of what's called the events team, the national events team here at West Music. We focus on summer professional development as well as school year conventions. I'm the director of national events.
And I am the National Events and Program Manager. Judy and I work side by side for music education, music therapy, drum circle facilitation, and wellness facilitation, and summer offerings, which include our Orff workshops or our Orff levels courses, and then our world music drumming workshops throughout the summer as well. We are very busy.
Well, you have both been very busy because Judy just got back from Kansas music educators, and Teresa and I just got back right before that from Texas music educators. So you are out all the time. How many, I mean, if I could just ask, because I don't know, how many things do you think you go to in a year?
May I back up a second?
Yes,
Let's
you
not
may.
forget Kodály as well. I didn't say that.
Yes.
Um, how many events we go to or how many events we coordinate?
Ooh,
It's a difference.
yes, it is. How about let's start with how many you actually physically go to? Just a roundabout.
I probably go to 10 a year, maybe 12.
I physically go to 5.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
And
then
then
let's flip it. Then how many are you somehow involved in one way, shape, or another? Because that's quite a few more.
I didn't count up.
So I can tell you for World Music Drumming, I plan all of the World Music Drumming events, and so this summer there's 13, and then for MEA's music therapy, I have planned 8 of them for for the school year.
Yeah. We do about 15 to 20 conventions for the school year, including working with percussion source and the regional band department for a couple of events too. And then in the summer, we supply or work with 80% of the Orff courses that run in the summer, and probably about 8 or 10 of the Kodály max. So, needless to say, between the two of us, we're very busy.
Yes, you are. So let's kind of break that down a little bit more. What would you say to teachers as far as, let's talk summer for just a minute, but as far as summer opportunities, all the opportunities you can think of. You already said a couple of them and you can say them again, but just what's out there. Judy, do you want to throw some out first?
Sure. Well, we talked about Orff and the Kodály Levels programs, which are 2-week programs. There are also some what they call 1-week supplemental courses at some of those same places. And those can be curriculum, Orff curriculum, maybe ukulele, early childhood, additional movement, Dalcroze, um, for adapting for all students in your classroom, and as well as Orff repertoire. And Tereasa?
There are many world music drumming workshops that are offered. So, most likely, if you've never taken a world music drumming workshop, you're going to want to start with level one. They do offer level one, level two, level three, and those are kind of stair steppers as well. So, you always want to make sure you have a level one before you enter level two, level three. And then there's also Drumming Up the Fun, which Melissa Bloom, part of our West Music family, teaches. That is a condensed version of level one for your younger learners, so pre-K through two. There's also another course called Kids Choir and Drum, which Dr. Lynn Brinkmeyer does teach, and so it's a condensed version of the level one, but it also it incorporates many facets of singing. And then there's also a fun one that's been new for the past couple of years called Festival Brazil, and that is taught by outside of the US, so non-Western musicians. So you're actually getting a full encompassing Brazilian music edger to come teach you. So you'll have all of those instruments, and we support all of those as well. And then I'll do a shameless plug for one of our business partners. So Drums Alive will have a Drums Alive conference. It is at the end of June, and it is over 2 to 3 days. And they're also offering their Drums Alive Basic Level 1 course as well. So if you wanted to start and tiptoe into the Drums Alive, you can come to the Drums Alive conference and get professional development. And it's going to be in Arizona, so bring your fans. It will be pretty hot at the end of June, but they're also you'll be able to meet the creator of the Drums Alive program. You'll get to see people and music educators, music therapists, general hobbyists, principals, counselors that use the Drums Alive programming in their schools, in their physical education programs as well. So there are a couple of offerings on the world music drumming and the Drums Alive side of things for this summer.
Well, Teresa, let me ask you really quickly, and then I got to jump back to Judy. This is like a ping pong. Um, with Drums Alive, do they offer that every summer? Has that been going
Actually,
on?
that's a great question. So this is the second summer. So last year was the inaugural, and it was in Ohio, and this year is the second. So each year we're building, 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 and we will have a West Music pop-up store on site at the conference. And myself and I believe Larissa Perez are going to be able to attend the Drums Alive conference. So that'll be exciting.
Oh, very good. So Judy, what I wanted to ask you, um, aside from Orff, what about Kodály workshops over the summer? What's the kind of current status with those
Well,
nowadays?
let's kinda take a maybe a little step back, or we can talk about what we do for all the ORF courses that we work with.
Sure.
We provide a URL, on our website. So a link to our website with all their required and recommended materials, recorders, maybe some suggested things that they're encouraging their teachers to view, and they can get free shipping for a certain dollar amount. And that coupon is good through the end of August. So we provide that for all the ORF courses that we work with, whether we have an on site store or not, as well as for the Kodai courses we work for. Um, and those work really pretty well. And, it's not that everyone will buy from us. We hope they will. But there are maybe they'll find their books from a friend or a used store or something. But this way, there's a way for Kodai educators to be and Orff Schulwerk teachers to be able to find the materials that are required for their course because they're similar, but not always all the same.
And one more question, Judy, are there currently some Dalcroze courses going in the summers?
Um, there aren't very many at places that we supply materials for. Um, there have been some up at the University of St. Thomas. I believe there are other courses around the country. While we consider ourselves that we provide for the most everything, we don't do it all.
I will chime in. The University of Kentucky continually has a Dalcroze in the summer.
Oh, thanks, Teresa.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. And just to clarify, because you both know all this stuff, the Orff courses are 2 weeks. Kodai, I believe, are still
They
two
are 2
weeks.
weeks.
And
Mhm.
Dalcroze, is that one or
I think
t-
I always thought Dalcroze was 2 weeks. I'll do a
Okay.
quick check.
Okay. And then world music drumming is one. I know that from taking it. And drums alive is
Drums Alive is the conference, so that'll be
okay.
2 to 3 days.
Okay. Because I know that's always an issue for teachers. It's the time commitment,
Mhm.
and it's hard. Teresa, while she's looking at that, as far as like can you talk a little bit about the world music drumming? Like, what does a week look like? I mean, I have done level one, so I can talk to, but
Absolutely. So, the Mecca, the drum camp, is actually in West Music's own backyard this year. So, last year we started a new launch in partnership with World Music Drumming and Remo to bring in more World Music Drumming faculty members to the Cedar Rapids location. We had offered level 1, level 2, and level 3, and that way people can pick which level they want to come to. That class actually starts on a Sunday, and we call that the Mecca because it's kind of an immersive experience. It starts on a Sunday with a reception, and it begins with gathering community. It begins with meeting people, meeting fellow music educators, meeting fellow musicians out there in their niche of the world. And you get to meet people that do the same exact thing that you do. And so from Monday to Friday, you take many different types of sessions that include pedagogy, include singing, include movement, but all in all, you're going to incorporate the facets of the curriculum that is world music drumming. So you're going to learn necessarily a sequential process of how to incorporate those particular rhythms and what they call ensembles into your development. And they'll talk about the practical applications with students, with what grade level appropriateness that might be applicable to. And from Monday through Friday, you get this full immersive experience. And about by Wednesday, your brain is overloaded. But you continue to learn and you continue to drive through because it's truly a magical thing to be able to sit there amongst your peers and learn at the same time. And then on Friday, you have sometimes they call it a share session or they call it an informational session based upon who the faculty member is. But on Friday you get to play in front of your peers, in front of invited family members, admins. West Music family will come to the Cedar Rapids location, and you get to show off what you learned throughout the entire week. And regardless of where that location is, so if you took it in California, in Valencia at the Remo Music Center, which it will be there this year again. You will get to show off what you learned throughout the week. So it's a fully immersive experience. The people that you're going to sit alongside with are going to become your family members. And you're going to text them and you're going to ask them what they're going through, how they taught things when they get back to their classroom. And they have to start teaching these things and they can't yet remember what they did on Tuesday or the rhythms of Ensemble 3. And you'll have a community. And I know that faculty members encourage people to join the World Music Drumming Facebook private page. So that way, when you go back and you have questions, you can throw it out there in the group chats and in the group postings. So you have that support along the way as well. As Patty Bourne, Melissa Bloom, Paul Corbiere, Will Ulrich, all of the faculty members are always there as you continue to incorporate all of the world music drumming into your classroom. So they continually support even after your week with them.
well, it is amazing because I've done world music drumming and Orff, but it is amazing in that time frame the amount of material and activity. Like you said, everybody, we always called it when you hit your wall, and your brain is just you need a moment just to collect yourself and then keep going. We always knew it in the Orff levels as a class. The teacher would say, "Oh boy, I think they've hit their wall today." Like, okay, let's just bring it down a little bit, and then they'll be ready again. Judy, so same kind of question. Um, with 2 weeks with Orff courses, how would you kind of summarize that experience?
Well, it's very similar to what Tereasa says. There are different courses. You'll have a basic, with learning about how to use the instruments, how to use body percussion, incorporating speech, singing. The instruments you probably won't even use them the first day in level one. and then learning about how to use this approach to teach music education. There's a recorder class. You're going to learn how to teach beginning recorder. If you're a recorder player, you can be in the an advanced recorder group, where then you get to really dig in and play some pieces, versus just BAG. But sometimes teachers come and they've not really ever, they're not wind players. So they need to learn how to properly teach the recorder. And then there's movement classes too. Um, Expressive movement. Aaron, you're a movement teacher. Haven't you taught levels? In
Yes, I've taught 1 and 2.
Yeah, you've taught courses. So they come together. There's also then there tend to be a course or a class different days of the week where they all come together, a 2D or whatever it'll be called. So they'll all maybe they'll learn a new piece together as a group, or they'll have some choral music they go through. Um, and then this happens for 9 days, Monday through Friday. And then by day 10, they also will have a sharing or a informants, as Teresa called it, to share some of the things that they learned with their other teachers and groups. And of course, the same camaraderie and ultimate communication continues on through the year. Back to the Dalcroze question. At University of Kentucky, it's a 4-day workshop this summer. So, the ORF courses do have homework, um, and most of them you will take credit for at that college or university. Some of them you can apply toward a master degree, depending on a master's degree at that university or beyond. Um, there are a few you can audit. There might be more than I'm thinking of, or have dug into, but there's always that opportunity then to advance yourself up the pay scale and your education too.
Teresa, same question. With world music drumming, do they offer a graduate credit with that at all? I was thinking
Yes.
they did.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Another question. I think I know the answer, but just in case. But for any of these courses, this question always comes up, especially from newer teachers. Do you need any previous training? They always think, well, I don't know if I could take an ORF levels course because I don't have ORF training and or
I
world music drumming
Yeah.
training.
I
Whoever wants to.
Sure, for Orff Schulwerk, you don't need Orff training. That's what you're gonna learn at the 2 weeks.
Yes.
Um, you need to have basic music skills because you are going to be writing out perhaps a body percussion part, which means you have to understand rhythm. And then you'll have an assignment where you'll do write an orchestration, not a complex piece by any means, but something appropriate for a beginner. Level 2, it's more advanced, and level 3, and of course reading music. um, there have been people that have not necessarily been a music teacher that have taken level 1. um, they don't always tend to go on very far because of the musical skills that are needed.
I'd concur with Judy on the world music drumming side of things. A basic knowledge of music will help you, and it will help you your learning throughout the courses or across the workshops. But this program, you don't have homework like you have for ORF levels, but you will be
What I
practicing.
do.
You will be playing constantly, but church musicians, community based musicians, drum circle leaders, music educators. This is for you. You can walk in there with a basic knowledge of music, and your understanding and you'll keep filling your brain with how to teach and what to teach and when to teach, but you don't have to have any previous drumming experience because that's what you're going to get on site. You're going to get that opportunity to make music in a group of people. So you'll be taught.
And this is the same for Kodai as well. Um, I have not taken a Kodály course. I've been around those courses. We've had other associates who have taken Kodály courses that no longer work at West Music, former teachers, but similar sorts of trainings. A level 1 is meant for a beginner. Level 2, it gets a little tougher, whether it's world music drumming or for a Kodály. Sight singing and ear training in Kodály was never my strong suit in college. But for some people, that is where they want to go. As you've had former podcasts with Orff, AOSA people and OAKE people as well, talking about the passion of what they do, and of course, world music drumming too. So, not everything fits everybody, but people tend to figure out pretty quickly, oh, this is what I want to do, and I want to take all 3 levels of whatever. Or maybe they go, I want to take level 1 Orff, and now I'm going to take world music drumming. That's what I'm more comfortable in. Or maybe they take world music drumming and the opposite applies. They then decide, I'm a little more formal. Perhaps I'd like to do Kodály or something like that. What's nice is there's such a nice variety of trainings all summer long. And West Music does our very best to be involved in everyone we can be.
And I do want to piggyback on that. Judy, you brought up something I've been asked multiple times, if people can take multiple levels within a summer. And my answer, specifically for world music drumming, is if you've never taken world music drumming at all, start with the level 1, then go back and teach and have those applications and have those aha moments and have those questions down. And if you're ready to move on the next summer, take the level 2. And then go back and marinate on it more and then come back for level 3, because for me as a go-getter, as someone who always has the gas pedal down, I need that time to have my brain relax and dissect everything that I just learned, especially coming off of world music drumming level 1. It's a lot of information. So, yes, they can take level 1, level 2, and level 3 in the summertime, but give your brain some time. Go
Yeah,
back.
yeah. It's really not it's not the best because as I agree with Teresa totally there. And actually I think it's discouraged for Orff and Kodály. Partly, number 1, they're 2-week courses, and there may not be one close to where you live, as well as 2 weeks is going to be more expensive than 1 week, especially if you take it for credit. So financially, you might want to spread it out a little bit too. Um, but or you could be crazy like I was. I took level 1 Orff in one summer, and the next summer I took level 2 twice. It was great. I had 2 different sets of faculty. I was at 2 different locations. I was young and crazy and had a great time and learned so much in that summer. And then I was ready for level 3 the next year. I've also, and I know Teresa has too, um, here at West Music, we've had the opportunity to take level 1 more than once, or level 2 more than once, or even level 3. And that's a great opportunity for us because then we can talk about all those levels with people and our experiences and encourage them to take it at your own pace. Don't think you have to do everything in one summer.
Well, I think both of you, I 100% agree. Very well said by both of you, because I think you could be the best musician and the best teacher, but nobody should try to get all these levels in a summer. It's like you need, as Teresa said, you need that time to explore and really get into what you've learned before you move on and then be ready. So, but I didn't know, Judy, that you took 2 level 2s in the summer. That's an
I was
impressive.
young. I was young and I was excited and I had saved my money. So I went.
It seems like whenever you talk to teachers about, maybe they took level 1 and you say, "Why did you never go on to level 2?" Or No, and they got married or they had children, and it was like
Well,
life
you know,
life
life
happened.
happens. Life does happen.
Yeah.
And especially, I think more than ever, life happens. Um, or maybe they have taught for 20, 30 years and now they finally decide to take a course in any of these um, fields. And then they're like, why did I wait so long? So, find your passion and go for it.
And for me, it was always money. I got my level 1 in 2008 with Sandy and Gretchen, and then I was a brand new teacher, and that pay scale for a brand new teacher is pretty low, even coming in with a master's degree. But it was always how can I pay for something? And I got my level 2 in 2011 only because I was one of the recipients for the Cape Mon scholarship through AOSA. So that was the way I was able to pay to go to the University of Kentucky to get my level 2 with Cindy Hall. And then mm, and then I got my level 3 with the wonderful Jay Broker at the University of Kentucky as well. So money a lot of the time. So there are resources out there through AOSA, maybe through your ORF chapters as well, that they might have scholarships for those type of professional development opportunities as well.
Well, and we have a brand new scholarship here through West Music too.
Hey!
I wanted to be sure and bring
I was
that up
waiting for it.
today.
I was waiting for
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Go
Uh,
ahead.
it's a new scholarship. It was just on a recent e-blast, and I'm not exactly sure where the landing page is on our website quite yet. But Gina McLaughlin, she was a dear friend and colleague that I worked with for 37 years. And a scholarship when she passed away last June quite suddenly developed. She wanted one. She left it in her will to have a scholarship here at West Music, as well as she left money, wanted money funded for a local Ukrainian support group, and both are quite wonderful. So this is a new scholarship in Gina's honor. 3 educators may apply for uh, up to $500 towards an ORF workshop. Gina primarily worked with ORF courses through her career the most. And so it will be something that they can apply by April 15th. And then once the course is over, they will receive the $500. There's some stipulations, of course, and I'm sure there'll be a link here that'll be added at some point.
Well, that'll be amazing. And that's something I always plug to people as far as our organizations. They always want to know what are perks to be part of whatever organization. And with AOSA, I said, well, if you're a member for a full year, and they may have even changed that policy by now, but I said, then you could get a scholarship, which I got. Teresa, to speak to your point, that was my level 3 paid because it is expensive when you do the graduate credit 3 summers in a row, but that was really helpful for me. Okay, so let's talk a little history. So whoever wants to start with this one.
Let's
Oh,
back up a moment. I
go
had
ahead.
looked. There are also scholarships, of course, through the OAKE fund. These organizations do their best to support their educators and encouraging people to find the funds.
Well, and I know in my interviews, we did 3 interviews with OAKE leadership, and they also have a scholarship just to attend their conference, their
Yes,
national
they do.
conference.
They
And
do.
that was really cool. So yeah, all these organizations are doing everything they can to help get our teachers there. Can we talk for a little while about West Music's connections to all these, whether it's conferences or levels courses? Kind of when did that all start?
Well, let's see. Before I joined West Music in 1980, actually, West Music was involved at the course in Des Moines. There was a course at Grandview College, and they had supported the level 1 there with Orff instruments and a bookstore, as well as they'd been involved up at Hamlin University. And the summer I started, so they would, the person before me had a limited bookstore because there really wasn't as much in print there. We provided some Orff instruments and percussion. Tubanos weren't in anybody's dream at that point. Um, but basic kinds of claves, finger cymbals, shakers, scrapers, frame drums, those sorts of things for use at the course, and of course, and sale available at the end of the course too. And that's how we've carried it on through the years for courses. Then when world music drumming came to be about 25 years ago, Teresa, does that sound about right? Yeah. Um, Steve West and I saw Will Schmidt present at an MENC conference down in Arizona that spring before, and turns out we had the opportunity. I could go up there, and the Remo drums had just kind of come to be. And so I loaded up the minivan and went up to Wisconsin and took drums and sold them all by the end of the course, and had a small bookstore there. And that's continued with Orff and drumming. And the Kodály courses have mostly gone online. There's a few we still have on-site bookstores, for sometimes it's all about the finances, about how much materials cost, and at what point do people have other discretionary monies to buy anything else too. Um, Teresa, do you wanna talk about conventions?
I think you did a great job. Every year we look at and we evaluate, the sales from the previous years, our bandwidth of sending associates to attend, because some of the times conventions overlap each week, and many people reach out to us and beg us to come to their convention, but we have to make those hard decisions of if we have enough people, if we have the bandwidth, if we have all of those things in place, not even just for the people that go on site, but on the back end of things too, because we have a full convention team, Aaron, that preps all of our instruments, supplies, our convention materials to go out. So they work really hard on the back end of things to set us up for success while we're on site. But then they also have to check all of that back in. So some of the times we can't go everywhere. We can't make all of it happen, but we do try our very best, especially with music education convention. And also, we do still go to music therapy conventions. So next week, I'll go to the Great Lakes region Music Therapy in Columbus. And then the following week, we have the Midwest Region Music Therapy Conference that's actually in our Iowa region. So we have a full staff of music therapists here at West Music. They are largely connected to everything that is music therapy associations, and the University of Iowa is also a great partner in music therapy and for West Music. But that Midwest region music therapy convention is actually in our own backyard here in Iowa City, so that's a one-day convention. So we work hard to do those things as well. And then we have sometimes we have little pop-up that come up, like for instance, Larissa, who is our Texas-based sales consultant, she will be doing, in combination with Mario Luna at Forney ISD. They're bringing in David Rao in April, and it is a free workshop. It's a just professional development. It's over a Saturday, and we do those types of events along the school year as well. So there's lots of things.
We also, Aaron, as you well remember, being involved in the First Iowa Orff chapter, we still attend 3 or maybe 4 of our local, Orff chapters through the year. Um, First Iowa Orff in Cedar Falls, Iowa, the Greater Chicago Orff chapter, the Minnesota Orff chapter, Midwest Kodály sometimes happens, smaller event for Kodály, a regional event. So it all just depends, as Teresa says, about people. It also kind of comes down to how many supplies we have. Do we have enough drapes? Do we have enough of this? Do we have enough of that? Because you gotta make sure you just don't send somebody and it's like, "Oh, we didn't send a table drape. We don't look very good here." So, it's a lot of planning, and it's hard to turn people down, but it's kind of the reality. We can only go so many places, and we see more and more, um, competitors go fewer and fewer places. Um And so we try to fill that void the best we can. At conventions, we also have been asked to provide instruments for a session room or two. Or there is a newer thing that started at Florida a number of years ago and now has continued to Virginia, where there's an all-state Orff ensemble. And so at times we've provided Orff and percussion for those as well. And, that adds on to everything else you have in the booth that, oh, by the way, we have to now move these instruments to where they need to go. And then when it's done, we have to pack those up while we may still be packing up the booth or whatever. So needless to say, it takes a lot of organization and being able to lift a box now and then.
As far as like conventions, workshops, all of that, if you and you don't need to be specific if you don't want to be, but what types of special promotions do you sometimes run when you run a store somewhere? Is there a certain
Um,
or does it change?
Conventions, some of this may change considering the climate right now.
Mhm.
It's not been well defined for next year for conventions yet. We typically we've had discounts on percussion and props. Um, Accessories, we call them. Books tend to be at their regular price. We do have a free shipping coupon available for a certain dollar purchase. And in the past, in the summer, we've had a rebate program. We That has to be defined as well with two of our main vendors, and that is yet to be defined as well. So, we will have an e-blast that Teresa will craft, a number of e-blasts that'll go out about summer, and in that we'll show that sort of information. So be sure and sign up for West Music emails and open them up and read them. Um, there will ultimately be a calendar on our website too of all the places we go this summer. And you'll be shocked to see we tend to have as many as 60 events that we're involved in this summer. So if somebody ever asks Teresa and I, do you take time off in the summer? And we're like, no, no, we're busier than ever in the summer, but that's okay. That's how we get to meet and greet our teachers everywhere too.
Wow. Well, you 2 are busy. You have a lot going on over there. Um, I don't know, we might have covered all this, but are there any other professional development type opportunities throughout the year? We've kind of really focused a lot on summer. What would you throw out to teachers during the school year? I know one
Well,
that I would say,
there's
but
there's always the Orff chapters, Kodály chapters. You're gonna find those on AOSA.com and OAKE, or it's probably .org, isn't it?
yeah, yeah.
Silly me. .org and OAKE.org. And there are chapters all around the country, and for both of those mindsets, and they will have maybe 2, maybe 5 workshops through the years of different things. They'll bring in a drumming person or a movement person. Somebody will tell stories. And then, oh yeah, we'll may use some Orff instruments too, but it doesn't mean you have to have any levels to take any of those courses, to attend those chapter workshops. At conventions, there are all kinds of event sessions that happen. Um, this past week, I was at Kansas Music Ed, and there were multiple elementary general music sessions, focusing both on um, things. One session was how you use egg shakers and rhythm sticks in your classroom. Who doesn't have rhythm sticks and egg shakers in their classroom? Probably most everybody has them. And what a nice way to do something that doesn't scare people off to think, oh, I'm supposed to have 20 xylophones. Not at all. Not at all. We all have to start out and you use what you have available to you. What have I forgotten, Teresa?
So additionally, we, West Music, have partnered with Ann Fennell, a music educator in California. I believe she's a past CMEA president. We have partnered with her to travel to California. We will bring a professional development clinician. We don't know who that is quite yet. And for a week of travel, we will stop at multiple locations. We'll bring a pop-up store. We'll bring instruments and accessories to use in the actual workshop itself, and look for that information via our e-blast, on our online channels, on our social media, because that is coming down the pipeline. But additionally, we have other type of workshops and um, development types don't fall in the Orff or world music drumming umbrella or music education umbrella. Remo has a program called Health Rhythms. Health Rhythms is uh, the way that I like to summarize it is music as a tool for wellness. So this is for people that are music educators, music therapists, drum circle facilitators, hobbyists. When I took my health rhythms training course, there was two neurosurgeons in the actual class itself, and that typically happens over 2 days. There are various trainers. The trainer that is coming here to Iowa in September, his name is Frank Thompson, and I just recently did a video with Frank promoting all of his work and all of his backstory with Remo and how West Music and Remo and Health Rhythms all came together. And that particular workshop is September 12th. It's going to be here in the Coralville store. And we're also going to be offering out more than just a typical health rhythms training. So Frank also does African drumming as well. So he'll have a night session on African drumming. And then additionally, we're getting ready to launch our brand new Drums Alive Master Trainer URL on our West Music website. We are building information that will provide all of our customers to reach out to Drums Alive trainers in their specific area. We have some trainers that are in the Southeast. We have trainers that are in Ohio specifically. If you're looking to bring in a trainer, if you're looking just for a session like a play party or something like that, you can bring in a Drums Alive trainer. If you're interested, you can have a Drums Alive trainer come and talk to your admin to give you that whole sales pitch and that whole product informational session as well. So we're getting ready to launch that. Look for that on our socials and then through our email channels. And I hope to have that launched before the Drums Alive conference, which is again at the end of June.
And the other thing we're not talking about, Trace and I may not be as well versed, but Percussion Source is another part of the national events team. Percussion Source focuses more on high school, college percussionists, um, and they also exhibit at conventions. They have had been involved in master classes. I'm not sure of what their summer program is, but so it's not just elementary that we work because West Music is really, you know, babies to with music therapy with seniors. And so we're really about music education for everybody.
Well, and I think, Teresa, you touched on this already, but it's really exciting to hear things being offered right in the store. You
And
know,
that doesn't always happen, but Frank Thompson is just such an advocate of West music, and he pitched me with this idea, and I said, "Why haven't we been doing this?" It makes all the sense, and it's a perfect month. It's in September. I did cross correlate the calendars with the University of Iowa's football, so we're not hitting football weekend for that particular training. But yeah, so not all the times we can make it happen, but our Coralville location, the managers there, they love is a they help us facilitate any way we need to. We've had drum circle facilitation trainings at the Coralville location before as well. So we are active, and anytime we can snatch up a good idea, we'll do it.
well, and as Judy said, I mean, we are Play Now, Play for Life, but I know at the Cedar Falls store a few months ago, we had a piano person come in and it was geared more towards adult piano teachers. But it was a great professional development for those teachers because that was their skill set and what they do.
Mhm.
So it was really great to have that. Let me ask you this question to both of you. So, because you go to a lot of places throughout the year, when you talk to new teachers who are maybe not sure about what to go do for professional development, or where do I start, or and I don't mean to say you're endorsing one particular thing, but just what would you say to them to encourage them to take that step? Because I think sometimes as a newer teacher, you don't think you're ready because you're still, what would you say to them?
In college, you need to learn everything in those 4 years that go for your degree, and they apply to your degree, and it's a good smattering. You learn about history, you learn about your vocal, your instrumental, your jazz musician. You focus on your field. Maybe you took one or two uh, music education courses during the course of the time, and now you're going to teach elementary general music, and you're like, I don't even have any books in my classroom. What do I? Of course, now in this day and age, everything's online. Um, then look for something that's maybe in your area. That'd be a way to look at it. Maybe there's something in your state that, or there's somebody you could go stay with. Find a relative who's willing to let you stay in their spare bedroom for a week or two to get your feet wet, to learn about something. Or again, an Orff chapter, a Kodály chapter. You kind of just have to talk to people and say, well, what did you do in college? What were you exposed to? And then you might be able to find out what they're interested in. Here's a funny story. Last week at Kansas Music Ed, um, there were a number of high school and college students there. And on Saturday, and they were all over our booth because we had all kinds of things to play. They were quite a number of ensembles, and this happens at every one of our conventions, wherever we go. Um, but at Kansas Music Ed, our booth was really, really busy. And this professor came up on Saturday and she said, thanks for letting my kids play all week. She goes, I think there's going to be a few of them interested in general music now, elementary music now. And I went, great. They got exposed to something. That's half of it. You have to be exposed to something to have an understanding of that sounds like fun.
I I have to backpedal a little bit. So I have a master's degree in percussion performance, but my bachelor's degree is in music ed. And my music education for the elementary or the general music levels was a paragraph, or was a paragraph in a music ed book. And then we were required to read the Kodály method, the Chusky book. And I was supposed to be a band director. I got my master's in percussion, and when the reality set in, I went to get a job, and the only jobs available were elementary music. I started on October 2nd, right, my predecessor, the that veteran teacher left the Friday before I started, and I walked into the room and I was like, "Where are all the instruments?" And I remember my heart just kinda dropped out of my feet because I only had a triangle with no beater, holder, a broken tambourine, and the pair of railroad
Mhm.
nails. And I was like, "I don't know what I'm supposed to do with all of this." And as I was cleaning out her materials, I saw this flyer in the desk, and it was Heart of Florida Orff workshops for the entire year, and it had the list of the dates and the topics and the presenters, and I thought to myself, "Oh, this is at the University of Florida because that's where I graduated. I know I can go. I feel comfortable." So I went in early November, I believe it was, of that. So 1 month after teaching, and I met Michael Roberts and Jennifer Steptoe, and they were so nice and so lovely. And that was where I was able to connect because when you're new, they really want to support you as of the ORF chapter. And they asked me what instruments I had, what I needed, what type of help I needed, mentorship wise, and really that's how it started. And I have one of the rare stories of when I first started back in 2016 with West Music, the catalog. We were Well, the whole year we were celebrating our 75th anniversary at West Music, and one of the stories we were asked to share in the catalog is tell your first experience with West Music. Well, my first experience with West Music, this Jennifer Steptoe, the president of the Heart of Florida, she called me like a Thursday before a Saturday, and she said, "I have something really exciting. But can you be at the Florida Orff State Workshop?" So Florida's really cool. You have all your smaller chapters, but then they would have one big Orff workshop with all of the chapters. And so it was like, professional development all over the state. And she said, "I have something really exciting if you can come to the state Orff workshop." And I had been gigging with a percussion section at the time. And I said, "Well, I'm gigging. What's this? What is it? What is it?" And she said, "Well, I can't tell you, but I've got to tell you because I need a reason for you to be able to go." And she said, "I have a vendor that has donated a full Orff instrumentarium for 3 lucky music educators, and you're one of the music educators that was chosen to receive this gift." And this gift was from West Music and the Sonar Company. So Judy Pine and Tim Henry, I knew them before I really knew what I was doing with those instruments. And from there, I took it and I was able to put music in the hands of students because of West Music and Tim Henry. And I highly concur with Judy's statement of go out there, talk to those chapter workshop people, talk to them, get get to know all of them, get to know all their offerings, the scholarship. If they have a instrument library, check out. One of the chapters in Florida had one of the instrument libraries. And with that, I was able to get my first game plan book. Yeah, I got my I got my first grade because kindergarten came after that one, but I got my first grade book and I thought, "Oh, this is great." And then I needed more. Then took my level 1, but talk to everyone, talk to all of the music teachers in your district. And as a customer, come up and talk to us when we're on site. A lot of the things that we do is we ask you what you have in your classroom, how much your budget is, what maybe you already have a knowledge base to do, and if you're ready and willing to spend a summer to go professional development for yourself, or if little workshops throughout the year, because a lot of the times you have to tiptoe into those things before you really understand what they are. But come and talk to us. We're always here to help you, all of our staff, on the phone, in conferences, through chat. We have a wonderful team.
Well, and it's so interesting that you talked about going to a workshop and then somebody kind of pulling you in because in doing these podcasts, this has been a theme. I've asked almost every guest, one of my first questions is tell me your musical journey growing up. And every single one of them at some point said, this person said to me, you need to come to a workshop with me. Or
Mhm.
now that you've been coming to a workshop, we need somebody on our executive board and you would be a good person. But everybody has had at least one person that has, I think we mentor ourselves informally so much in the music world because we just take
Mhm.
care of each other.
Mhm.
And if you're new, we pull you right in because you're not going away.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So I
Very
love to
true.
hear you say that. My West Music story was when my school was flooded many years ago and I
Ah,
lost my entire room and I didn't know what I was going to do because I love my instruments. I mean, they're my and I will never forget these I think 3 big boxes of stuff showed up at school one day. And I said, "Where'd these come from?" And Judy had sent them from West Music and said, "I know you need stuff right now."
Aw.
And it meant the world. It really did. So,
Aw.
oh, you too. We could talk all day long. You are wonderful. Um, so we always end our podcast. Judy knows this. Now, Tereasa hasn't been through this with some little silly musical questions right at the end. There are no wrong answers. They're just for fun.
okay.
And we'll
Let's
see
do
if
it.
I'll be curious to see if you answer the same or different on some of these.
I
I'll
won't
just be
even
curious.
remember. It's been a
All
while.
right. So, well, they're new ones.
Oh, good.
Do you have a favorite live concert? One that you really, really remember that you went to, whether it was a symphony or whatever? Tereasa, you're already nodding. Do you have one?
Yeah, so my mom is the love of my life. She's my best friend. I had the opportunity to take her to the Jazz Fest in New Orleans in 2000, what year is it? 2023. And the Jazz Festival goes over 2 weeks, and there's multiple bands, and it's hot. It's in New Orleans. But I had never seen her so happy. We saw Dead and Company, we saw Mumford and Sons, but at the end, as we were leaving, Jim Jones was playing, and that's the music of her time. And we just stopped and we sat down. And my mom, I don't know how I got a musical rhythm in my body, but my mom is the exact opposite. So anytime she gets up and she attempts to dance, I don't say anything. I allow her to do her own creation. And I look over and she's just dancing and having the best time. And the smile on her face was just priceless. And I'll always have that in my mind. And the fact that I was able to take her to New Orleans to have that type of experience was really,
Mhm.
really my best memory. And it's of my mother.
That's a good story. Okay,
You
Judy.
know, well, I've not necessarily been to a lot of live concerts, but I remember in high school going to the Dorian Festival or the Meisterklasse Festival in Iowa, those high school choir and band festivals. Um, and just being a kid from a teeny weeny itty bitty yellow polka dot bikini school in Iowa, that then all of a sudden you were with all these kids who like to sing and play their flute or trumpet as much as you did, and just how exciting it was to be a part of all of that. Um, so I think that's one of my strongest memories.
Well, Teresa, I think you'll enjoy my answer because I would have to say one of my favorite live concerts was Cher.
Yeah.
Except the funny part was because she's been around for so long. I mean, you had people from teenagers to 60s and 70s at this concert. So she would perform for a while, do a set, and then I think she did a costume change, as I'm guessing what happened. And what did we all have to do? Sit down and take a break while she's not on the stage. Then if she come back out, now we're back up. But then we needed another break. So that was a fun one. Well, keeping on that kind of theme, one more. This or that, Beatles or Rolling Stones?
Beatles.
Ooh, Beatles.
That's been okay. I was guessing you were going to say that, but okay, another this or that. Which one of these instruments do you think is underperformed? Flute or the flexitone?
The Flaxit.
Lexitone, you know, we sometimes it's hard for us to keep them in stock.
I will say one of my first pieces in college was, Ozzy Osbourne's Crazy Train, and I got to play the Flexitone, and it was a big deal, a big deal.
I used to be able to play Happy Birthday on a Flexitone. Haven't done it
Oh,
in a while, but, it's quite a technique to
yeah.
it's almost like a theremin
Mhm.
in a
Oh, and
very
I'm totally
odd
wrong. That
way.
was the vibra slap, not a
Oh,
Flexitone.
a
Oh,
vibra
the
slap.
vibra slap. Well, that one too. That's
No.
Ugh.
okay. And then one more. Which one do you think is overperformed? The quack stick or the ukulele?
I think the quack stick
Performed? Like on stage?
or just
Or just
In
used.
public, I guess from TMEA, I would definitely say the quack stick because
Oh,
that was
yeah,
a
the
hot
quack
no.
stick, because everybody's gotta shake it,
yeah.
go to town with it.
I will say though, overperformed is any of us at any MEA tuning our ukuleles at the booth
Yeah,
because
it's
that
a
takes a
it
bit.
takes
Well,
time.
that's true. Oh, you too. This has been fun. I want to thank both Judy and Teresa for joining us and thank everyone for listening because this has been Play Now, Play for Life podcast with Aaron. And if you enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing and leave a rating and a review. And you can find us at westmusic.com, and that's where the information's not there yet, but summer information will be there. So be a little patient. You can also find this podcast at westmusic.com/playnowplayforlife. Play for Life. And we are also on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and X. Play Now, Play for Life is the podcast by West Music.